Hello and welcome to the new series of the Three Takes of Stupidity. In this series, fuck you, you twat, you cunt, you utter bastard. You didn't even fucking write it down. Hello and welcome to the new series of the Three Takes of Stupidity. In this trilogy, we will be a Sherlock Holmes, an Inspector Gadget, and a Shaggy. James is the Shaggy. For obvious reasons.
I do need a haircut.
That's not the reason.
Give me snacks.
This week, it's us with the movie in the living room or the bedroom. We don't know where we watched it. It's Clue. I'm joined by Chandler Monk.
Hello.
James Robbins.
Hi.
And I'm Alex Clinton III. Let's go.
Why the third?
Why not?
Alright, boys. I don't know about you guys. I know you two have got a raging clue. What have you been up to this week?
Was that a South Park reference?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a clue.
It was the Hardy Boys episode when they're trying to figure out who did 9/11. Oh my god. Oh, I've got a raging clue. Yeah, I've got a raging clue right here. What did you ask, James?
I asked what you've been up to before we talked about two blokes that use their cocks like dowsing machines.
Nothing much this week. What have I done this week? I went to go see Hamilton again. It was a Christmas present for my nieces, so me and my partner took my two nieces to see Hamilton at the weekend. It was amazing, as always. It's only the second time I've seen it, and I didn't cry this time, so I felt that was an achievement.
Emotional stoicism is an achievement.
Did you cry?
Yep.
Which bit did you cry at first? Was it the son dying or was it him dying?
Spoilers?
No, it was...
Not that he or his son dies. No spoilers, no spoilers. What? Anyone could die. Anyone could live.
I mean, they're all dead. It was 150 years ago.
Oh yeah, they did die at some point, yeah.
It was... I cried the first time during It's Quiet Uptown.
It's quiet up.
Yeah, Uptown. Forgiveness. Anyway, 5 seconds.
You cried at that.
That's about them, like, trying to rebuild their life after everything that's happened. Of course I'm going to cry
but
at
I
that.
wouldn't have thought that you'd cry at that.
Why? What did you think I'd cry at? Like, it's building up. You obviously threw Blow Us All Away to then into the reprise of Stay Alive into It's Quiet Uptown. Like, that is just cry, cry, cry.
That is just Cry City.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Went to the Fulham game. Fulham had a great result against Liverpool, which was fantastic. Fuck the Scousers. And
Mate, I'm sure you were sat as close to the away fans as you can to hear the accent you know and love.
yeah, I only like a slight Scouse accent on women. Not on men,
They
obviously.
give him a raging clue.
Hey. And we finished season 2 and 3 of Slow Horses this week, and that's very good. It's very, very good. Highly recommend it. Alex, what have you been doing?
This week, I've got back into watching Always Sunny because someone started watching it last week. I think it was James.
Hello, indeed.
Just got up to the episode where Brian Lefebvre has appeared, and everyone got off. Totally got off. When that guy pointed at him and said he was Brian Lefebvre, he got off.
I cannot remember what episode that is.
What else did I watch? What else have I watched? 24 Hours of Police Custody I watched. There was a particularly terrible episode recently where it was a ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. There was a whole thing going on. They were getting messages. Then the police said, can both of you turn in your phones? The girlfriend turned over her phone. She was like, yes, please. Find who is sending me these terrible messages. And then the boyfriend was asked to turn over his phone. He didn't want to. I think we can all see
Where this is going.
he was the guilty one. It was very exciting. James, what have you watched this week?
I have started season 2 of Always Sunny. I can't believe that show got greenlit. I can't believe it made it through. They have insulted everyone to the point where I'm just like, fair, go for it. But it's so funny.
But that's kind of the point. It's the same as South Park and Family Guy. Like, no one is off limits, because then that means that you are favouring one type of person. So if everyone has to be fair game. Otherwise, no one is fair game. That's the joke.
I caught up with...
Not to explain comedy to you in any way.
It's so funny. I'm watching it very casually. Like, I'm not like watching it in a sense of I'll watch it every night or something. I'll put it on here and there and watch like 4 episodes at a time.
Through experience, that is the best way to do it. Do not watch it every day or you will become Charlie.
Yeah. Well, that's Emily's favourite character in the show, so that's fine.
Genuinely, you will fight. If you watch it every day, you will just find yourself becoming an incredibly terrible human being.
But no, I just love that they went. So McElhenney and the other guy, I forget his name,
Glenn Howerton.
Howerton. They wrote it and co-created it together, and I just love that they went. Okay, so we're making a sitcom where all the main characters are horrible, unlikable people, and then the studio go, "Yeah, let's do it."
And now we've done it as a podcast.
Well, it's because it's supposed to be the antithesis of like normal sitcoms, isn't it?
And it's great. I'm up to date with Apothecary Diaries, as gripping as it was in the first series. But I'm watching one of my favourite and the only terrestrial TV show I watch, although I am catching up, like it comes out on a streaming service, and that is
The Chase,
The Great British Menu. I love The Great British Menu. It's so good. It gave me, when the Premier League was down in COVID, it gave me that competitive itch of television. And it's just different from the rest. You're not watching like TV chefs. You're not watching like fucking dickheads come in and try and cook. It's like Michelin star, unreal, and it's tense and it's great. And then you watch these like people that have worked their whole life for this get either praised or torn down. And it can be...
Are you watching it? Are you like, go on, crack those eggs? Come on, yeah! He's cracked the eggs! Get in there!
But to be very clear, you compared the greatest sporting product ever to this show.
The Premier League should be thrilled to be related to this show.
Oh, yeah, no. No, I messed up my words there. I was referring to the Great British Menu as the greatest sporting product ever.
I don't quite this might be a controversial opinion, but I don't quite understand cooking shows.
Oh, they're great.
I actually don't get the hype around them. It's because, right, things like that and like the Great British Bake Off or like anything else, it's like if I'm watching someone cook,
you want to eat.
It just makes, yeah, exactly. It makes me fucking hungry. And I'm like, I've just sat down and ate my dinner. Why do I want to watch someone cook and then become hungry again?
I often watch it while having dinner.
As someone who's perpetually trying to lose weight, it's the worst thing to do.
It does sound like a you problem.
It is 100% a me problem. But I still don't get cooking shows. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Clue is based on the very, very famous board game. It's called Cluedo in the UK, but Clue in America. The film is based that 6 guests are anonymously invited to a strange mansion for dinner, but after their host is killed, they must cooperate with the staff to identify the murderer as the bodies pile up. So the 6 guests in the film are named just as they are in the board game. So we have Mrs. Peacock, Miss Scarlet, Mr. Green, Professor Plum, Mrs. White, and Colonel Mustard. They are also joined by the cook, Yvette the maid, Wadsworth, who's butler, and Mr. Body, who turns out to be their host. This got 7.3 rating on IMDb, a 72% tomato meter score, and an 86% popcorn meter. It is available in the UK to watch on Netflix and at various other places around the world to our global audience.
Was that 72% on the tomato and 68% on popcorn?
86.
86?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I've never agreed with ratings more. I see why the critics were very 75% on it. I see why fans enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely been a trend across our last few films, because I feel like we haven't had a bad film in a while, at least not rated, and they all seem to follow the same trend of being a 7 point something on IMDb, a 70 something on the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, and then like an 80 plus on the audience. So if it follows that trend, if I know nothing about the film other than that, I'm just going to assume that it will be good. Because it hasn't failed me yet.
This film is very enjoyable. Like, I remember watching this film when I was younger.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it. Can I guess the age? I wrote down an age. Can you?
Was it 1?
It wasn't.
Far too young to watch a film like this at 1 year old.
He remembers listening to the
I
film
actually
from
just
the
wrote
womb.
fetus.
Yeah, from the womb. and then at like 6.
It was probably, I reckon, probably like 8 to 10, somewhere like that.
Oh, I wrote 9.
But when we were discussing that Murder Mystery was going to be our next trilogy, I did think, like, how can we not do a film that's based on the Murder Mystery board game?
Yeah, no, I think we had to do it. I was a bit... Something that this podcast is helping me get over is my struggle to watch, like, pre-90s cinema. Obviously nothing's wrong with it. Some of the greatest cinema of all time. But I just have always struggled not to turn it off.
James, I think this is the first pre-90s film we've done.
No, when was Mulholland Drive?
2001.
Holy shit, that looked like garbage.
The Producers wasn't, but it felt like it should have come out in 1987.
Well, The Producers is a
Based on
remake of a
1950s.
60s film.
Exactly. Anyway,
60s.
This podcast is putting me out my comfort zone a lot, which I really like, because I'm getting to enjoy new media that I haven't watched. And I was forced to watch something now that I wouldn't have probably watched before. And the opening of the film kind of gave me that as well. I was like, there's a lot of cliches here. But this film might have created those cliches for all I know. Probably not. It's not that old. But you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. But then once it got past the opening 2 minutes where it's just people arriving at the house, I'm like, okay, this is actually really funny.
I think it was still playing on the noir films tropes at the start.
And I thought they were really funny. They were almost they were a parody, right? It was a pure parody, and it was great.
Yeah, I think you're right, James. I think this film is playing, like, these stereotypes that it plays on were already stereotypes by the time this film came out in 1985, I think it is. And I think it does it really well. I think it plays on stereotypes really well. I think the parody of it all is very, very good. And it sets you up in a really good way to just have fun with the film in the next hour and a half.
Exactly.
But as you sort of say, you know, the beginning of the film is literally just, it's full setup. Like, I think this is the only film
you don't need much.
that we've done that the setup, it does take a while because you have to spend the time with the film to introduce every single character.
But it's not that long, and I like how it's done, because you meet the people while Wadsworth, the butler, meets everyone arriving. And it doesn't take long. You don't have that very long. I would almost say, because it's all so quick, there's no setup. There's not really any setup needed. The game Cluedo and Clue has existed, so you don't... I think it leans on the fact that you don't need it.
Yeah.
And I think we all know what a murder mystery is going to be, like a typical murder mystery. However, there's one thing that really irritated me, and it's not about the film, but it was about... I irritated myself. When the lightning appeared over the ominous house, the ominous mansion, I didn't think of any obvious TV shows. It just made me think of Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm like, James, you're such a fucking dork.
I did think of a TV show that is not the TV show I thought of.
It's not a TV show, Alex. It's a GameCube game.
No, there you go.
I thought of, and this is another Tim Curry film, I thought of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because the same thing, trope happens in that as well, which was like 10 years before this.
I thought of the Family Guy episode where they do...
where they do this. Where they basically
do this. Where they do, yeah.
I did think of the Addams Family as well, to be fair. My partner came in and she said, the musical sounds like the Addams Family.
But anyway, so let's get into it. So these characters are introduced. So we're first introduced to Tim Curry, who plays Wadsworth. And I will have a controversial opinion about Tim Curry in this film.
If it's anything other than he was excellent, I'm going to kill you.
No, I think it's that, but to the superlative.
Okay.
Like, I think this film should have been a part of our Oscars trilogy just because of Tim Curry.
If it wasn't Oscars 2025.
He steps in dog shit, which is quite funny, and that becomes a running joke as they're all introduced.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced one by one. Like, so we're introduced to, I think, Mrs. White first, who is played by Madeline Kahn, and she's like, you know, dressed, which is really funny because like she's dressed in all black, and for some reason I just assumed Mrs. White would be dressed in all white. But anyway,
it did annoy me going through them that they weren't all dressed in their colours.
Yeah. Like Miss Scarlet
Colonel Mustard
is in red.
Kind of dressed in in mustard. I was going to say dressed in Colonel Mustard.
There's probably a really naff Easter egg that if you go to the opposite side of the color wheel, it's that or something.
No, because Mr. Green was in a blue suit, and I cannot tell you how itchy that made my brain.
Let's not get into this. So we as we meet the characters, we learn that these aren't their real names and they're referred to by aliases that they've been given to in their like invitation to get here. But no, But we learn later on that Mrs. White is a widow essentially. And then I think we're introduced to Colonel Mustard next. Also introduced to Yvette and the cook as well, because I think we've missed that.
Yeah, so Yvette's one of the first characters we see. She's the French maid. And I'm not going to lie, when it was just Wadsworth and the French maid, I was like, I have seen certain videos and certain sites that start exactly the same way. And I think if anyone walked in the room...
Even with the dialogue, you have your instructions.
I mean, come on. That was the start of a porno. The script was a little bit goofy. If someone walked in, didn't know the film, I wouldn't be surprised they thought he was watching porn.
I knew when he met Yvette that he had landed the role in Scary Movie 2 already, because she was like, oh, I have to give them all the drinks. And he went, is it titties?
But yeah, we're next introduced to Colonel Mustard. He shows up again. Like, I love the secrecy, how the secrecy is like sort of delved into, like, something's going on between the butler and Yvette talking about instructions. The all of them learn like they're not supposed to give out their real names. And we meet them one by one. So Colonel Mustard. I think Mrs. Peacock shows up next. But all of this, like when they're being introduced, like all the comedy within the film is brilliantly done. Like it's very slapstick, the whole film.
Yeah.
Very fast. It's very slapstick, but it's all done so well. And I think we come from a sort of age and a time where when a lot of films and TV try to do that, it comes off terribly. But going back and watching this film 40 years after it's come out, you can still see when it's done well, it's done brilliant and it's so comedic and it's really funny.
There was a couple of bits early in the film that really had me chuckling. Most of it was quick delivery, not like silly. There's a part in the film where someone opens the door and gets hit on the head by an ironing board. That didn't make me laugh. That wasn't that funny. But when there's the dogs barking outside, and then I think it's Wadsworth just shouts, "Sit!" and then the guy just sits on the stairs. No, not you, sir. And then when the lightning happens over the mansion, and I believe it was Miss Scarlet. She says, "Why is the car stopped?" And I think it was Professor Plum driving her. He just goes, very quickly, he just goes, "It's frightened."
Yeah, it's brilliant. But that's a really good point, because they're the next two characters we meet. And I love Christopher Lloyd as played Professor Plum. Like, he's this, like, we find out he's like a disgraced shrink and, like, you know, had sex with one of his patients. But I love that he's still a little bit dirty. He wants to bang Miss Scarlet so badly.
Oh, yeah.
I could not get away from that this was very close to the Back to the Future series. And
it's the same year.
Yeah, he looks nothing like Doc.
But I think he sounds exactly like him, obviously, because it's the same actor, but he's so funny. Like, Christopher Lloyd and Tim Curry in this film are brilliant.
We have Miss Scarlet is probably played by the only other actor I really recognised in Leslie Ann Warren.
She is in a few things. She's in Wayne's World, I think.
Yeah.
When I was doing some research, she plays Mrs. Vanderhoff, which I quite enjoyed.
She was playing this classy. She was like quite, I don't know, in more of a party gown compared to the others. They all screamed a bit of money, but she screamed real money. And she's like, from here, she's only really described as a sassy Washington DC madam.
She's a pimp,
but yeah, she runs an illegal brothel. But it's never explicitly said. But it's just like everyone in Washington knows what you do and turns a blind eye because they're all using her brothel, basically.
Yeah, she's a pimp.
Yeah,
but she's great.
She was brilliant. I think they lent on her and Tim Curry a lot in the film. I think they was front and center quite a lot for good reason.
But I think Christopher Lloyd, and then the last person we meet, Professor Plum. No, sorry,
Mr. Green.
Mr. Green, played by Michael McKean. I think all of them are incredible, like, ensemble actors. Like, they know how to play off each other, and play the physical comedy really well, and all the dialogue and slapstick and all the quick lines, like the bit where, like, after dinner when they're all talking about why they've been assembled there, and Miss Peacock starts screaming, and then Michael McKean just slaps her in the face, and just goes, "Well, I had to stop her screaming." It's brilliant. Really well played. Michael McKean, you would know from Better Call Saul and Coneheads and various other things. Spinal Tap as well.
I thought I knew his name, and when I saw that it was him, he just looks so different. He looks so young, and he plays.
It was 40 years ago.
I know. He plays a camp. What's his cover story?
He's being blackmailed because he's gay and works at the State Department. Which in the 50s is a crime, obviously, unfortunately. How times have changed.
Yeah, because I had to look up what McCarthyism is, because that's where it's this background of McCarthyism.
Because the communism.
Yeah, the communism joke.
Everyone's scared of communism. We'll get into that joke, because that's right at the end of the film.
Communism's a red herring.
Communism's a red herring.
It's like, what was wrong with him? It was worse. He was a socialist.
So I love that bit. I love that. So they're all there. They're all assembled. We all find out why they're assembled because they're all being blackmailed.
But there's one person missing. Mr. Body.
So
which in itself is a fantastic joke.
What, Mr. Body?
Mr. Body.
Mr. Body. So
Mr. Body.
So Mr. Body arrives and they're all together, and he's like sat in the back of the room while Wadsworth reads out why they've all been assembled. We all find out they've been blackmailed for certain reasons. Like, Professor Plum's had an affair with his patient. Mr. Green's gay. Colonel Mustard's a... what do we find out there? It's like...
So he
had sex with a vet.
He's also, scandalous photographs of one of Miss Scarlett's employees, which turns out, we find out very later on, is the maid of vet. And then we also find out that's not the real reason why he's being blackmailed. Yeah.
And then Peacock has been taking bribes for his senator's husband, and Mrs. White...
Scandal around the death of her nuclear physicist husband.
Yeah, has been killing her husbands. I love this scene. Is really well done. It's really like it spells out the story for you, and then Mr. Body turns up dead, and then from then it turns into who done it, and it's really well done in my eyes. We go through the film this film goes very quickly, doesn't it?
It really does. You build up to it slowly, but I think that's the right pace. And I think if it goes too fast, you get lost. If it goes too slowly, you get disengaged.
The early parts before more people start dropping like flies is a little slower while they're investigating, but it's building the tension. I did, in my research, and it's obvious anyway when you're watching it, is a big genre blend of the comedy and murder mystery and in like investigative, because they are investigating. But the movie is so good at... I felt like I never knew who it was. I felt it was really, really good at keeping the mystery, and then when you get the payoff later on, it is fulfilling to the point though where I feel like I need to watch. I feel like I need to run that. So spoiler, there's like 3 endings to this. There were 4, but 3. I need to watch the endings and the film and have an ending on one screen on loop, and then have the film on so I can check everything that happens in the ending reveals actually happened, because I just believed it.
So I've seen this film many times before, as we've said, and every time I now rewatch it, I'm always looking out for that stuff. And it's correct. It is very, very correct. Like, all the things they say of why so-and-so could have done it or so-and-so shouldn't have done it or blah, blah, blah is done correctly.
I did make a note during one point. I was like, oh, Mrs. Peacock didn't run with them to the kitchen. And I was like, so it's her. It's her. I've made up my mind. Half an hour in, I was like, I found out who it is.
I do remember when I first watched it, not knowing and being like, I have no idea who's done it, along with James.
Yeah, but you were only a twinkle in your father's eye when you first watched
yes.
this.
Correct.
You said Mr. Body showed up dead, but we revealed that he is blackmailing all of them. He's got all this information. He's threatening them that they can't do anything about it. He's going to reveal all their secrets, and he's been blackmailing them the whole time.
What I really enjoyed about it is there's a line in the film where he goes, he's blackmailing you because he finds you all deeply un-American.
Yeah.
And then someone asks, one of the characters asks, like, if he finds us so American, why not just turn us over to the police? And he's like, you decided to make a little money out of you. What's more American than that?
I cracked up at that.
Oh, capitalism. I did write down James would find that funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I did think it was absolutely hilarious. But Body wasn't dead. He was pronounced dead by Prof Plum.
I think what's really good in this, I think I think it's really easy to explain this film away quite quickly because, like, you know, Mr. Body turns up dead and they're like, what the fuck's happening? Yvette screams, then they run to her, then the cook shows up dead, and then Body's moved and he's actually dead somewhere else. Then they try to investigate the house, and then they, you know, and then other people start arriving to the house.
And
a commuter shows up, a cop shows up, a singing telegram, and they all end up dead.
Yeah.
And I think I don't actually particularly worry about it, like explaining through the film on this, or like going through plot by plot and blah 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 blah.
No, it doesn't
because
matter.
it's a murder mystery at the end of the day, and it's all about who died and who done it.
Well, we should say that big spoilers. We will reveal who done it. So we'll when we're going to talk about that, we'll warn you.
Does that mean that you know who done? I still don't know who done it.
Well, I mentioned multiple endings. Lots of people done it. You know the old trope that everybody in the film, what happened? Oh, everyone died. Everyone says, "Oh, everyone died." Take the piss. No, like every just this film, you could say everyone did it. You're wrong, but you're not wrong. You're wrong, but you're not wrong. There's more to it.
the running jokes that I really liked about, like, throughout the I really like the little plot threads it poses. So I really like the running joke of the dog shit and them all stepping in it. But I also really like if you go back and read this film has a lot of rewatchability, I think.
I would agree with that.
Because like we've mentioned, it has 3 different endings. So you can rewatch it and try and figure out if all those 3 endings actually make sense. But I also think, like, running jokes, like how many shots the gun fired is quite a good one. Because at one point they start counting the amount of gun bullet. I love that joke, and I repeat that joke. I repeat that joke to my sister all the time. 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. No, it was 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
Of course you do.
I really like that.
Math degree, Chandler.
Comedy.
It's not a particular, like, it slows down in the middle, but maybe you could say when they all split up, that's quite a slow bit. But once you, or the start, but once you get into it, it's just a runaway train. You're in. People are getting murdered. People are showing up. I love that everyone that showed up gets murdered.
Yeah.
But no, because we later find out that everyone who's been invited there or who has been murdered has been a part of the crime, like either being blackmailed or the information they've given is being used to blackmail.
But Wadsworth put it on that Mr. Body invited everyone, but actually he invited everyone on behalf, because Mr. Wadsworth he felt aggrieved as well. Like, everyone there was affected by Mr. Body is the point. And even, as you say, the people that came and died. So the cook had been employed by one of the guests. The motorist that arrived was Colonel Mustard's driver during the war and knew about the real reason Colonel Mustard was being blackmailed. And it wasn't the fact that there were the photographs. It was that he was a war profiteer and made money selling radio components on the black market during World War II. And now he works at the Pentagon on a private thermonuclear fusion bomb.
That was a mouthful for you, wasn't it, James?
It really was.
It really was.
But I thought you handled it beautifully.
Thank you. They all work in government. The police officer was on Miss Scarlett's payroll for silence about her brothel, and the singing telegram was one of the patients that Professor Plum had an affair with. Also, she looked like 5 years old, so that man be nonsense.
She did look very young. But as you said, Professor Plum is a horny bugger.
Yeah. And
he's been wanting to fuck anything that moves.
Good
old Christopher Lloyd.
But I did like how every time someone every time someone arrived, Wadsworth, played by Tim Curry, was like, "Well, of course, I invited them too."
Yeah, I really enjoyed Tim Curry's performance. As I said before, Tim Curry's performance in this film is fucking fantastic.
Very good.
This film is like, even as good as like Christopher Lloyd and Leslie Ann Warren and Michael McKean. This film is held together by Tim Curry's performance. I can't think of another actor who could play that role as well as Tim Curry.
The end where he's running around is just made for him.
It is so good. And I genuinely believe he should have been nominated for an Oscar for this film. It's bad. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I will prove you wrong. He wasn't.
Brilliant. I actually didn't look this up, but I'm going to look it up now. 1986 Oscars.
While you do
Who
that,
got nominated?
you guys have to remember, though, and I think it's important to remember for an audience, this film, it is based on a game. So when everyone is showing up and he's like, well, I invited them because they were involved as well. It has to be that way because in theory, if you're playing with this with lots of people, those people will have to be involved. Also, why would they come to the house? And if you're playing a board game, of course everyone's going to have been involved in it. It's a board game. It's not like reality. And it's done really well. It's really funny. It all feels believable, even though this is super campy and slapstick. There is mystery. The mystery works. You are like, who did it? The comedy doesn't take you away from the mystery aspect. And I think actually, I can see now the inspiration for my movie we're doing next week, which is a very modern murder mystery that is very campy. Absolutely, you can see where this movie has been so influential.
I think now is a good time to actually start discussing the endings. This film has 3 different endings, and I think this film would have actually done a lot better if the film had come out today rather than in 1985. Because what this film did when they shipped out the films to cinemas, they actually shipped different cinemas with different endings. Yeah. So when you watch it today, you get to see all 3 different endings, and it explains each one of them to you. However, if you went and saw this in the cinema, depending on which cinema you went to, you would get a different ending. So that when people would discuss it, they may not be discussing the same ending, and they'd be like, "What the hell?" Which that's I think brilliant. Is genuine. Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant marketing for a film. And I think that's why the film would have maybe done better, be more famous if it had come out now than in 1985 with the internet.
I think that Netflix, that's what they should do. They should cut the endings. Like, we should have watched 3, hopefully different films.
We could have watched 3 different completely films.
That would have been so, if you just, the second you press play, it just gives you a random version. That's Netflix, please, listen to us.
Can you imagine the 3 of us saying, that didn't happen, no, that did happen, and us not knowing and coming in? We would just be screaming at each other. Like, no, they didn't do it, they did it.
It would be our best performing podcast.
Probably. And it would probably be our last.
Yeah, but then people would watch the film, listen to our podcast, and then go, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. None of this happened. None of this happened.
Like, that doesn't happen already.
Yeah, that does. That happens now.
These fuckers didn't watch the film.
Before we talk about the actual 3 endings that were distributed, there was an unused 4th ending.
Is there? I've not read that. Go on then.
So Wadsworth, our favourite butler and not butler in one ending, committed all of the murders. He was motivated for his desire for perfection, which, if anything, Tim Curry's performance in this was perfection. Having failed to be the perfect husband or the perfect butler, he does a real 180 and decides to become the perfect murderer.
That's mental. Did they film that? Or did they just disregard it?
I'm not sure if they did. It was released in, it's documented in the Clue storybook, and it's a tie-in book released at the same time as the film.
Ooh.
So what? Yeah,
might give that a read.
He reports that he poisoned the champagne the guests had drunk earlier, so they would soon die, leaving no witnesses. The police and the FBI arrive, and Wadsworth is arrested, but he breaks free, steals the police car, but his escape is thwarted when 3 police dogs, running joke of the dogs at the start of the film, lunge at him from the back seat.
That's interesting. I'm glad that's not in the film, because that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a great movie but it's a nice one, because I think so there was only one of the endings where Wadsworth was actually involved.
Yeah.
Which is ending C, I believe.
Yes,
I think you're right there.
As it's presented to you, yeah.
I feel like there had to be one, or I'm surprised there wasn't more than one where he was more involved, because he had the control of the situation. To the point where at the end, before you get the endings, as you've both have mentioned, the scene of him running them all around the house, revealing it, which honestly, he was acting his fucking arse off, falling on the floor, standing up, reenacting things. He slapped Miss Peacock again, which was absolutely hilarious because he just had to do it again.
I I had to stop her screaming.
Yeah,
I totally disagree with you there. I don't think he's acting at all. I think that's just Tim Curry just being Tim Curry. I reckon he was doing like Jack Nicholson, like walking down the hall, going while they were setting up the shot. They're like, right, Tim, you're gonna do the bit where you're on the floor now. They're like, just get on the floor, yeah.
But that's the thing. She said get on the floor.
scene.
The camera work is so good. Like with him like falling out of frame, and there was genuinely a point where they convinced me because during the film when murders are happening, the lights turn off and on. So he recreates that while he's explaining. He's like, I know everything that happened, and the lights turned off, and then he'd be on the floor like pretending to be Mr. Body. And then I genuinely thought he was dead because I was waiting for someone else to die. And then the way the camera cut or camera move works, and he just gets up off the floor, was so good. And I do think sometimes with modern films, like we've just watched 2 films which have like no CGI. They're all grounded. They were both grounded in reality and actually all 3 of them are complete unknown, a real pain and an aura. However, in a movie like this, you'll normally see some sort of modern editing techniques, modern CG techniques, green screen, whatever. This is just pure, unadulterated actor, set, and exceptional camera work. And it is another film that shows you how important camera work works in comedy. And there's not many directors that do that anymore. Edgar Wright's very famous for it. And I think didn't he do some of the Cornetto trilogy? Like Hot Fuzz.
He did all of the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah. So it's a we need to just do that as a series at some point. Because
just the one Swan, actually. Yes, of course we do.
Because those films are known for excellent camera work that helps accentuate the comedy, and sometimes the camera work's just the joke itself. And I think this movie put on a clinic for that at some points.
I also think that the music in this scene is done really well. Like, again, this whole 10, 15, 20-minute bit of him just explaining us what happened. It's a lesson in how to do a farce, essentially.
It was so Scooby-Doo
comedy. Yeah, it's so good. It's so funny. But let's discuss the actual 3 endings. So the first ending, or ending A, as it is presented to you, is Miss Scarlet doing it, which I think is a really good way. And I enjoy him going through each murder in turn and basically going, this is why no one else could have done it, and this is what Miss Scarlet did. And she knew about the secret passageways because Yvette told her, because she'd worked at the house, and, you know, she needed him killed or that killed or blah, 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 blah. I think this ending...
and she killed Yvette anyway to keep her business dealing secrets safe, and planned on like using all of the information she learned about the people tonight for her own benefit. And basically she was going to keep blackmailing them just as Mr. Body was blackmailing. I want to ask before, when we finish talking about the endings, all your favourite endings in order. Yeah. This doesn't mean necessarily this one is my favourite ending, but I do think it was the most believable. Maybe.
Ooh, interesting.
I think so. I might change my mind as we go through them, and you guys give me your opinions.
I don't think this is I love this ending, but I don't think it's the most believable, because I think if she's done it, I think this one and the next ending when Mrs. Peacock has done it, I think it takes too much coincidence and luck for them both to have done it all. So I don't necessarily think this is the most believable.
Or it's so beautifully planned that it all falls into place.
Or possibly that.
But we know it can't because they were all invited. Because because Yvette could have told her all about it.
Yeah, but Miss Scarlet or Yvette doesn't know that the commuter or the telegram girl or the cop has been invited. Yvette wouldn't have known that, nor Miss Scarlet would have known that. She would have had to be making this up as she goes along.
Or we know Yvette has spoken to Wandsworth, because Wandsworth said at the start, you know the plan.
No, she doesn't know the plan. She says you've got your instructions. They're two different things.
He might have told her that the people are coming.
But you say about doing it herself, Yvette was used to murder Mr. Body and the cook. So she didn't kill everyone. She did have help. So yeah, I do get your point. When it came to murdering the cop and the commuter and the telegram,
I am the singing telegram.
The telegram one,
I would have fucking shot that, and I don't give a shit. That was fucking annoying.
Yeah, don't tell me you're a singing telegram when you're obviously a singing telegram. Come on, you're like an F tier singing telegram at that point.
I am You're singing to. Fuck it. I would have hated that standing up at my house. You're getting fucking shot.
You'd just be like, ah!
That's the one. That's the one that's the most like is chance, because the cop had been there for a while and the commuter had been there a little bit, so it kind of worked. But that's the one where also Wadsworth is that. Like, I like how they're able in these endings to change Wadsworth's character quite a lot. So in this one, he's an undercover FBI agent, and he got there was a phone call that the cop answered that was for
from J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, the FBI head.
Yeah, who was blackmailed? Who was about to be? Who, like, funnily enough, if I remember my American conspiracy theory history well, didn't he like get done as being like a cross-dresser after he'd like died or something? I need to look this up. 1 second.
Wait, when he was dead, he was buried in a dress and someone...
Wait, hang on. J. Edgar Hoover drag. That comes up on Google pretty damn quickly. In 1958...
It's an outfit you can buy for Halloween.
It's not just drag, it's J. Edgar Hoover in drag.
You just put a dress on with a beard and you get an FBI badge.
Yeah, so you get your mates to dress as other FBI agents, but they only find out that he's a cross-dresser when they get to the party, and then they're shocked.
Yeah, there was genuinely, there was like a story of him cross-dressing. I'm not going to read the full 5
and then everyone has to buy you pints. But they'll tell everyone else.
But yeah, so there was a thing of him cross-dressing. So he was probably being blackmailed at some point as well.
Are you just assuming he was being blackmailed?
There's a great line in one of the endings. Where he goes, we're just going to... Is it in the FBI's interest to cover up bodies or cover up murders? And one of them goes, yeah, well, I think it's run by a man called Hoover.
Yes.
Really, really enjoyed that joke. James, was there not a return of the chuckle chart this week?
There was, absolutely there was. I didn't keep up to it a lot the whole way through, but I was laughing all the way through. Specifically, there was one part... I'm jumping back here, sorry, from the endings, but remember when they were the cop had arrived and they had to hide the bodies essentially. So Mrs. White makes out with Mr. Body's body. They put the nurse in the window.
The cook.
Necrophilia through the roof.
Yeah. But when they're all lined up in the room and the cook and Mr. Body are just sat on the thing and Mr. Body's head's up and his eyes looking up and it just quickly stop talking, close his eyes and talk about that was funny.
That's right at the beginning of the film.
That was so... Or was it? Shit.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning.
All the socialist ones, because so in the endings, there's a running gag of the communism was a red herring.
I love it. I love that line so much. Because I think like in the films of the 50s and stuff, like that was such a big thing of like, no one can be a communist. And if they're a communist, they're a bad guy, they're going to jail. And I love all the things of like, my wife was a socialist, or I've been selling war to secrets to the Russians, all this type of shit. It's like, who gives a shit? Let's just make money off each other. I'm going to blackmail you. Communism's shit.
I can't remember which of the characters it was, but the other one was my wife had friends. Someone else had died. Yeah,
Wadsworth. It's Wadsworth.
Yes,
says
Wadsworth's
that his wife was friends with a socialist.
So he was, because he was also blackmailed by Mr. Body, and my wife had friends that are socialists.
But just before we go back to the endings, on that, I love that that's the one they all reacted to. Like when they were going through why each other, they were like, yeah, it happens. You know, you bribe, you're a senator's wife, it's fine. Socialist? No.
They hate me.
We hate you, James, anyway. So the second ending, the second ending is Mrs. Peacock has done it all because she knew the cook. I can't actually remember why she killed the others. Like, she kills Miss Body for blackmailing, kills the cook because it was her cook. But why does she kill the others? Just because she wants to kill them all?
So
she just fancies it. She's just a killing machine, and away she goes.
So if it helps, Chandler, like being lost on it, it is the ending that on it when I was researching, and I also checked out a little bit of ending B, but it is also the one that has the least written about it as the ending.
So I only like this ending for the 6 of them standing in the room and just singing, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow.
And that's why this ending is unhinged. There's no way this is the most believable ending.
I think this definitely ending B or Mrs. Peacock doing it is the most unbelievable ending.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
When looking into it, it's just Miss Peacock's revealed to be the murderer of the victim and escapes while holding them at gunpoint. Whereas previously Miss Scarlet tried to escape on gunpoint, but that's where Chandler's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1 joke came in.
I love that joke. He was one shot for Mr. Body. I'm going back to it now because I fucking love it. One shot for Mr. Body, 2 for the chandelier, 2 for the door, and 1 for the singing telegram. That's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. It was like, even if it wasn't, it was 1 shot for the chandelier. It would be 1 + 2 + 1 + 1. No, even if it was 1 shot for the chandelier, it was 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Sorry, I know this joke so well because it's fucking amazing. It's so, and you go back, James, of like how quick all the acting is and how quick lines are. Just in this bit, I think it's proven so well.
Yeah, but then it turns out she was right. There was a shot left.
Can I just offer a counterpoint that Chandler's favourite joke has to do with maths? My favourite joke, other than what do you do here? I buttle, sir.
I buttle, sir is a great fucking line.
There's that one.
Great line.
And then there's Mrs. Peacock asking Yvette, where's the toilet? And she goes, wee wee. And she goes, no, just a part of my nose. That's hilarious.
So what we're saying is my favourite joke is about maths. Alex's joke is about pee-pee and poo-poo, and James is about socialism. 3 great character traits from the 3 of us.
That is very on brand.
That sums us up to perfection.
B's the weakest, but C.
B is the
Ending
worst.
C.
B is the worst. B is the worst. Like,
are we all in agreement that B is the worst?
Yeah.
I don't think we should rank them at all. I think we're all pretty aligned. pretty aligned. So ending C comes out that they've all done one of the murders. And so in turn, it goes, Professor Plum killed Mr. Body.
In the hall with the candlestick. But he knew he was still alive from when he checked his pulse earlier when he was meant to have died the first time.
Because he was the one who tried to shoot him.
Mm.
Do you know what? I've just remembered a plot hole in this film that I've never spoken about.
I wonder if it is a plot hole.
If you look at where Mr. Body is standing, to when Professor Plum obviously tried to shoot him, to where they think the bullet hole is, doesn't make sense. Because the bullet hole, Mr. Body is by the door, and the bullet hole that they look at is by the fireplace. So either that's just a hole in the wall that they've gone, oh my god, that's the bullet hole.
Ricochet.
Nah, bollocks.
No, because he knows instantly where that hole is. So I think it's a pre-planted hole. He shot him, but he also had already shot the wall previously.
Yeah, and then they were like, it couldn't have been you. You weren't in line with him.
Anyway, so Professor Plum kills Mr. Body in the hall with the candlestick. Mrs. Peacock kills the cook with the knife in the kitchen.
In the kitchen with the dagger.
The knife. Thanks, James. Semantics.
Dagger.
I'm reading the list.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do it from memory.
Okay, I'll correct you as you go.
Then the Colonel Mustard kills the motorist with the wrench.
Yeah, where?
Is that right?
Yeah.
In the lounge.
Yeah, after he locked the remaining weapons in the cupboard, but Mustard snuck off with the key to go get the wrench. And
then Mrs. White killed Yvette with the rope in the library or the billiard room. Can't remember which
billiard
one.
Room. Out of a strong hatred towards her. And she turned the power off for Yvette downstairs and admits
the French.
And she killed her husband. She admits she killed her husband, finally.
Yeah. Colonel Mustard kills the motorist because he was his driver. And then after that, Miss Scarlet kills the cop with the lead piping in the library.
Yeah.
In the library. And then Wadsworth kills the I am your singing telegram with the gun, which on the porch in the hall. I don't quite understand which way you kill that.
Front door.
But then and then Wadsworth, and then basically that all happens, and then Wadsworth just goes, I'm actually Mr. Body. I'm the one who's been blackmailing you. Thank you for getting rid of all my accomplices. I'm going to carry on blackmailing you, so fuck you all.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. Which I think is a great twist. Like, fundamentally, I think that's actually a really good twist. Because it sort of makes you then question the whole rest of the film, which is why I say it has great rewatchability.
This is the ending where everyone kills someone, but Mr. Green was accused but hadn't killed anyone. He didn't kill the telegram. Wandsworth did it. Wadsworth, not Wandsworth. That's a town not too far from where I live. Don't dox me.
And Hammersmith and City. Who did they kill?
Mr. Green draws the revolver and kills Wadsworth, who's actually Mr. Body, but not the original Mr. Body. He's the new Mr. Body. And he was there the whole evening. He was there to catch them all.
Yeah, exactly. And when the FBI agents all storm in, and they're all like, Resty is like, they all didn't. But if you're wondering who killed Mr. Body, it was me with the revolver in the hallway. And right at the end, which is a great line to fucking end a film, any type of film, is, I'm going to go ham. I'm going to go home and have sex with my wife.
I like to see the film that ends with, I'm going to go ham and have sex with my wife.
I'm going to keep it in now. Fuck you.
Yeah, you do.
But I think it's a really, really good ending to the film. And I think it's really, really good. I would have loved to have seen it in the cinema and the luck of the draw been presented with who did it, like which ending I would have got for in the cinema in the 80s. But in terms of which endings I like the most, I do think Miss Scarlet doing it all might actually, after talking it all through, I do think Miss Scarlet doing it all might actually be the most believable. I think I might agree with you there, James. However, I think what them all doing it is a better, more satisfying ending to watch. I think Scarlet's ending is in second for me, and then Mrs. Peacock doing it is like under a ton of
last place.
shit.
Yeah. I my mind has changed going through them because the audacity. I still think in your typical murder mystery with one or maybe one person with an accomplice doing it, A is the most typical with Miss Scarlet doing it. B feels like it's just added because they could make it work and they wanted more. But C is just the most fun. This film is so silly, yet still mysterious, so campy yet brilliantly constructed as a murder mystery that I kind of love everyone here is acting terrified. I like looking back at the whole film and going, everyone here is, if you think about it, acting their arse off as the characters. So the characters themselves in the movie are all pretending not to have done anything really, really well if you consider C as the main ending or your most favourite, thus making C just seem as silly as the movie is and quite comical and fun. So that's kind of shifted me around in terms of my preference, my favourite.
So are you CBA as well? No, CAB. Sorry.
CAB.
CAB.
I think I was definitely A more. Like when I watched A, I was very satisfied with the ending that I had seen and thought I was at the end of the film.
Yeah,
that was very movie mystery to me. But when I got C, is very satisfying. It's very satisfying indeed. They all did it. They're all equally as culpable. Fine.
That's one question. So what's your list? Very quickly, Alex. What's your order?
A, C, B.
A, C, B. But here's one question I wanted to ask you, because you two had never seen this film before. So when the flashcard came up and was like, that's how it could have happened, but it also could have happened like this. What did you guys feel and think? And you're like, oh?
I sat back down. I was like, that's the end of the... Oh, that's not the end of the movie.
You were like, I've got a podcast to record now. Oh, no, wait, I've got more to watch.
I had, unfortunately, through putting together the running order, been spoiled that there were 3 endings. So I didn't get to... So I'm actually quite gutted that I didn't get to experience that myself. But also, thinking about it, I don't know how often any movies did different endings or TV shows did different endings, but it feels quite pioneering for something to do that in 1985, because that gets lauded as in video games, and also I remember some TV shows where there was an interactive TV show, I think on Channel 4, where you'd pick the story through the whole way.
Bandersnatch for Black Mirror a couple of years ago on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. They're all very considered extremely innovative and like it always gets good press. This happened in 1985. This is excellent.
From my very, very, very rudimentary research, 3 films have done it. This is one of them. With I Am Legend, which I did not know had a multiple ending.
Yes.
And The Butterfly Effect.
Butterfly Effect. Love that film.
But here's the thing. I don't think those 2 films did the same thing as this film, where it shipped different endings to different cinemas. I think those endings were just, this is the director's cut. This is what the studio wanted it to actually be. This is what the producer on the A side wanted it to actually be, or whatever. Like, I think this film went in knowing that it was going to have 3 different endings, whereas those films, they just watched the film the director turned in and went, nah, we want a different ending. Do you Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like they showed it to test audiences, and they were like, "Nah, this is shit. You got to change it." So that's why I think this film is pioneering, because it set out with that idea.
Shall I tell you why you couldn't do it now?
Why? Internet.
No, because, well, yes, that would ruin it because people would find out very quickly. But also, it cost £1.71 on average to see a film in 1985, whereas now it's £15 sometimes to see a film in a regular seat. So you're asking people to spend like £45 to go and see 3 endings, and you might not see them.
Yeah, but it'd be worth it, though. It'd be worth it for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about the ending of it all. But the thing about like the internet is that I think this would actually drive people to go see it again, and actually drive buzz up around it, because people would be arguing about the film, not knowing what the fucking true ending is. Meaning they're going to have to go see it again.
I feel like they'd ruin it in spoilers. Like they'd ruin it in spoilers how I talked about recently how I was annoyed. I'd annoyed Captain America had the Red Hulk in the trailer. It did not need to do that.
Exactly. But I do think, as I said before, I do think this film would actually be better looked upon if it was released 10, 15 years ago rather than 40 years ago.
You know what? I can tell you exactly what would happen. The director would go on Hot Ones, and Sean Evans would go, "We hear there might be multiple endings," and then the director just goes, or the lead actor just goes, crosses their eyes like, "You'll have to wait and see." Wink. Hot wing. Give me some milk.
Oh my God. I think we're only going to know if we've made it if all 3 of us have appeared on Hot Ones.
We should do it ourselves. I've got loads of hot sauce.
What if just one of us appears on Hot Ones? We have not made it.
No,
Who's got the weakest tolerance for hot sauce?
Alex. Fucking Alex.
I knew he was
totally
going to instantly say that. That I have changed. I enjoy hot things semi-regularly now.
So now we've spoken about 3 different endings. Let's have 3 different takes of stupidity. James, do you want to start us off?
Make sure you spin the magic wheel of takes.
Oh, we're gonna spin the magic wheel of takes, and it's decided on Alex to go first. No, I don't like that. Let's spin it again. It's gonna go, James.
It's funny how the wheel always does that. It never likes Alex first, does it? Maybe one day when we're earning money, we can afford a real wheel.
What do you mean a real wheel? I have the wheel next to me, and I've spun it several times, and it always comes up with you, and I don't know why.
I had low expectations going into this, just purely because I didn't know much about it. I have this weird thing with older movies where I struggle to get into them, and it's something I'm trying to overcome because it's dumb. It was a lot of fun. It's a lovely way to spend an hour and a half. I honestly, just watch it in an evening with a friend or a loved one. Chuck it on if you've got a couple of drinks and have some friends over for dinner or something. It's a good time. Do it. Play Cluedo and have the film on. Really funny. It's the way it merges genuine mystery that does have you thinking, and excellent comedy, mostly led by Tim Curry, but all of the actors do a fantastic job in whatever they're given in terms of their roles. The running gags through it are hilarious. I love the socialism, communism jokes. I am left wing, but I still laugh at them. It's hilarious. The 50s, you socialists, you go to prison. And although I was not wholeheartedly surprised by the endings, I was still shocked by who did it. You know what I mean? In each of the endings. And when the second frame came up, I did wonder how they were going to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, now it's Miss Peacock. Oh, it was Miss Scarlet first. Oh, now it's all of them. And I was like, that's a great way to end. Comically, everyone did it, except for Mr. Green. But he kind of did do it because he killed Wadsworth. Really enjoyable. Honestly, as a murder mystery go, you can see its influence on modern films. Spoiler, next week we're doing Knives Out, which, with Daniel Craig, lovely film, really, really good. I could see the influence. I've seen Knives Out before. I could see the influence of Clue on modern day murder mysteries. Yeah, really fun. Really enjoyed it. Go watch it. Alex?
Positives about this film. It's 90 minutes long. Tim Curry is very best. And it's a genuine murder mystery. I really didn't know who had killed any of the people in it until I got to the end, and I still don't really know because there's 3 different endings, and I wish I'd watched only one of the endings so that we could cause massive confusion during this podcast. But also, we didn't touch on the writing. Fantastic physical comedy, fantastic verbal comedy, I guess I could call it. Just fantastic comedy all round. But one of the writers, John Landis, who's, when I looked at this film, I've heard of his name before, and he has wrote on some incredible movies. The Blues Brothers, I think he wrote one of the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy, Coming to America, The Three Amigos with the disgraced actor Martin Short, and of course Chevy Chase. I don't know what Martin Short's done wrong, but genuinely, nothing.
Nothing. Martin Short has never done anything wrong.
Thank you to
I love Martin Short.
the surprise member of the Martin Short fan club we have with us.
He wrote one of my favourite lines, I think, in a film ever, which was, "Don't make me look stupid. You can do that yourself." That's right.
I loved it. It's brilliant. I love that so much.
And of course, James, the member of the Chevy Chase fan club.
No.
It's funny because I don't think he knows what. Oh, you do know what Chevy Chase did wrong or has done wrong.
Yes, of course
Sorry.
I do.
Anyway, my
Community.
take. Good film. Good film. Murder Mystery. Really good. Enjoyed it. Can't wait for Knives Out next week. Chandler, what do you think?
There's really not that much to say about
What a
the
way to
tapes
wrap
because
up
it's no groundbreaking film. It's not trying to tell you anything. Like this is like cathartic after the 3 films we just watched.
My overall take, I think my overall take is that this film is genuinely, even though I didn't think I was going to say this before that we started recording, it is sort of groundbreaking. The 3 endings I think is really good. And I think, as I said 5 minutes ago, if this film had come out 10, 15 years ago when the internet was a thing, other than in the 80s, I think this film would have done a lot better and would be more well known than it is now. But overall, this film is fantastic. As Alex said, it has great comedy. The performance by Tim Curry is amazing. Should have won an Oscar because after looking at the people the Oscar nominees, there is only, I think, one performance on that list from the next year Oscars that I actually remember and is well known today. And that's Harrison Ford and Witness, and he didn't even win. So, yeah, Tim Curry should have won the Oscar for this film, 100%. And it's just Michael McKean's brilliant in it, Christopher Lloyd's brilliant in it, Leslie Ann Warren's brilliant in it. The whole ensemble cast is fantastic. They play their characters to a T. It's a genuine mystery. It keeps you guessing all the way through. The 3 endings at the end are all believable. They're all good. Some are better than others, but they're still believable to an extent.
It's not like there's no plot holes. There's no plot holes with any of the endings. There's just some that are more satisfying than others.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And yeah, the rewatchability is up there. You can rewatch this film loads of times and still find new things to love about it. So go watch it, go have fun with it. And yeah, as James said, see its impact on murder mysteries for the past 40 years.
I've also never played Cluedo. I should probably play Cluedo.
What? I did really enjoy your suggestion of have your mates round, play Cluedo while you watch this film. I think we should do that as a 3 Takes YouTube.
That could be fun. When you're coming over, you 2 can spoon in my spare room.
Sold!
Well, that's another murder mystery solved, and it's going away for a long, long time. That was the first of our Murder Mysteries trilogy. Join us next time for James's pick, Knives Out. James, why are we doing this one and not Glass Onion, both of which I've heard of but have not seen?
I'm glad that we're doing Knives Out even more that now you've not seen them, since it is the first one. And I thought it was best to do the first one. I also think Knives Out is the better film. And some of the characters annoyed me more, I think, in Glass Onion, even though it's very good. And I believe there's a third one coming out. Not long.
What sort of vegetable and compound will they put together? Will it be a rubber cucumber? Do we know? Could be anything.
A titanium melon?
It's actually neither of those. It's going to be called, the third Knives Out film is going to be called Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
What a on-the-nose title. I have noticed that dead people can't wake up, unless, of course, they happen to be Mr. Body. It's goodbye from James.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Chandler.
Remember, communism is always a red herring.
And is it goodbye from me? We don't know. We don't know. Do we? Do we know? Is it goodbye from me? Is it?
Ooh, it's a mystery.
And now for our other ending. It's goodbye from Chandler.
Very good. Very good, Alex. Sayonara.
Oh, get fucked.
Don't forget to rate, review, and share the podcast. It really helps us grow. Follow us on all our socials, plus our individual Letterboxd accounts. The links can be found in the description at www.hopwithtwops.bio/3takes or search for 3 Takes of Stupidity on most platforms. Please send us your film and series suggestions on our Hop page or to 3takesofstupidity@gmail.com. Thank you and hope to see you soon.